All right. I don't know why my eyes are watering so much, but yeah, and maybe it's just I'm not accustomed to snow. Snow. Uh-oh, Donovan is in the snow, walking around in the snow. Nowhere to go, doesn't have work in the snow with a coffee, a venti peppermint mocha. Oh yeah. When you want a taste of the venti. All right. So I know there's people who are like that swill is disgusting, but it was that I could have made my own actually. I do have everything to make a mean cup of coffee. I'm gonna make probably a cup of coffee later on today while I'm playing EVE Online, doing hella missions. Oh my gosh. Me and my court mate were destroying all kinds of combat sites together. That I've been waiting for a while. That we just jumped in an Algos and jumped in a Vexor and just lit up combat sites. Salvage, salvage, salvage. On to the next site. Salvage, salvage, salvage. On to the next site. And because both of us have pretty decent level skills for how relatively new we are, it was very efficient. I think, like it was because I wasn't really, I kept fucking up the fleet warp. Of course, fucking up the fleet warp. I kept finding myself, like, getting somehow down to, like, fucking armor in a Vexor on, in high sec combat sites, and so it's, and all passive. No active reps. Fuck that shit. Warp to 0, no active reps. I think I have like a shield hardener or something on it. It's supposed to imitate somewhat the doctrine of Silent Coalition, the LinkNet doctrines. I've been really trying to actually just taper a lot of different ships to a doctrine, or looking through fits that I've saved and trying to get something close to that with meta modules and stuff like that, and really the idea of focusing in on the talents of the ship, and also like, okay, if you're out there, if you're going to be taking this into low security space, the whole issue becomes, are you going to have something that's going to be the surprise? The thing that is really going to give you the best chances if you have to fight somebody. And so it was figuring out, like, okay, so let me take a look at what people do with a Vexor that I wouldn't think of because I don't fight other people. And I was like, oh, newts. Okay, so you do this with newts, you do this with these kinds of rails. You still have multiple minutes before it craps out on you. So, okay, got it. Good. That works for me. Yeah, so I'm like, this is like super exciting that it's actually snowing. Let me show you some of the beautiful, like, little snowscape. And it's all the walkers, very few people up here like driving in this. A lot of companies, they'll just shut down because snow is relatively rare here. It's actually the way that tides warm and cool, and the way that, if I remember, it's the tides warm and then there's a way that they rotate, so we end up getting a certain type of, particularly, we get a cold, deep tide that comes up, hits warm air. That's why it's then making fog. But it's that this also makes that there's a certain amount of moisture that it keeps in the air at all times. That's another thing that throws off, I guess, snow production. But it's I forget, there's really like this thing that has to do with quite specifically the temperature of the Pacific Ocean is why we just don't get a lot of snow. As you get to about halfway through Oregon and downward on the western coast of it, yeah. So I hope everybody had a Merry Christmas. I hope, I hope it was a good one this year, because this has been a pretty fucked up series of years, man, And for probably a lot of people, this has been a bit exhausting. There's constant culture war going on now. Let's wear motherfuckers out. And gotta have just some kind of moments where everything stops for a minute, the world stops, and get a chance to recharge, get a chance to enjoy something. Boy. So, you see that thing I always show you guys, the butte? It should be about there. So this means, that means we're gonna, if I'm seeing the butte vanish, we're gonna get hit pretty soon. So this is actually the point at which I should start walking back. This is one. You can use the wisdom of the old paper delivery guy. Said you got to look for the clouds around the butte. And I was like, oh, that's how that works. He knew. It's like, no, that's how you know. There's not almost any other way of telling whether it's going to rain or not here. And if the clouds descend around the butte. There's also some general rules like that for San Francisco, if I remember right. Certain points of the day, the weather will inevitably become like this in one part of the city and like that in another part, and it's because the way the mountains cut off. The way that the mountains work there. There's also, that in, not San Pablo, south of San Francisco, the mountains, you will actually be able to see at about, I think it's like 3 something, you'll see the cloud pile up on the mountain. Oh, there we go. I might have to do something a little wild and crazy today, sports fans. Surprise you guys. That might be what it's called for, going up there. The other butte. The lesser butte. Well, we'll see later.